Good morning. Hello, everyone. This chair, you know how chairs like have this rock to them sometimes? And then this one like can rock really far. Sometimes it comes unlocked if I do nothing. And then I lean back expecting it to stop here, and it doesn't. And it scares me. It's not fun. We're gonna get started in a little bit. I have coffee and it's way too hot for me to drink. Gotta keep you on your toes. I also brought upstairs some of the pour paintings I did last week with Brandon to show them off. And I only could carry so much at once, so I only brought 4 of them. But I brought 3 of mine that I really liked, and then I brought my favorite one that Brandon did. And I can say that mine are going to be for sale for sure on eBay at some point and will be on Redbubble. His, I am leaving it up to him what he wants to do. So they might be for sale, they might not. That's up to him, and he has not decided what he wants to do yet. Does Brandon get to do a rich painting? If any of my friends really wanted to do like an actual painting, and like if they wanted me to like coach them through it, I would. Chess, do you want to do a painting? Steven talked about doing one when I'm taking a trip in a little bit. And I was like, okay, but like, I don't want you to ruin my paintbrushes. What if you get cheap paintbrushes? He's like, that could happen. So I brought up these pour paintings. So this was this one with the purple and the black and the white, and it's more purple in person. Like you can see this purple here, like you can see that more throughout. Like it looks a little black and white on camera, I think, but it's quite purple. And the other thing I have to do is the back has a little bit of paint on it, and I need to take this X-Acto blade and like chop that off. And I started to do that the other day, honestly, and then I messed up one of the paintings and I felt really bad. But I tried to fix it so it doesn't look too bad. So yeah, this one turned out really cool. You can see the purple a little bit better on the side. Then there's this one, which I think might be my favorite out of all of them. Like this one is my favorite, and I did it first, and I'm like, ah, dang it. How come the first one I did is the coolest and they didn't get cooler from there? But this one is really cool. I do wish I would have popped all of the air bubbles. I don't know if you guys can see them, but there were air bubbles and they dried, and they are kind of neat. But I just know that when I do isolation coat on this later, it's going to like fill that in, and you'll still see like the dark blue hole. See the bubbles? Camera's not autofocus, so it will not focus. But you can kind of see the dots. And like the inside of them, because the bubble eventually did pop, is like a dark blue in this area. So you'll see that. But like I wish it was smooth. And there's a lot of bubbles like right up here too. So yeah, this one is my favorite. I really, really like this one. And I think I like it maybe this way. But like it doesn't matter which way is up. Oh, that way's nice too. So yeah, this one, big success. The other one I really like of mine is this one. This one turned out really cool. This one has some bubbles as well. They are darker, but they're still there. You can kind of see them. No, you can't. I have to get a glare. Let's get a glare from the light. There it is. There, you can kind of see where the bubbles are. There's not as many. There's a lot more on the other one. But this one also turned out super cool. And then the one I brought upstairs that Brandon did was the yellow, black, and white one. And that one turned out really neat. So that's this one. And I just caught the glare. Do you see the texture on that? That turned out super cool. So this is my favorite one that he did. I also liked the first one he did, but that's the one I accidentally messed up. And he was there and saw it, and I felt really bad. And I tried to fix it so it didn't look as weird. So it looks fine. I'm just mad because it was not fully dry and I made a mistake. Yeah, so this one has some really cool texture. This one I think was poured on very thickly. Like the paint is very thick, which is why it has this crack running through it. Like you can see it like here, this way, this thing. And like it's dark underneath that, so it's cool looking. So this one's really fun. Vagabond says, it's fine, I'll take that one off your hands. See, those ones are Brandon's. I'm leaving that up to him what he wants to do. And I think he wants to keep one of them, but I don't know which one he wants to keep. So let me just move all of these. And like, I'm kind of sad that I don't have more of these panels to do more. Just means I need to get a panel. How much are the panels? That's a good question, Chaz. That's a question I should answer. Let me pull that up. They're more expensive than canvas. That's why I'm not thrilled about it. And I like painting on wood panels because they're smoother and canvases are sometimes a pain. In fact, this guy, when I opened this guy today, it was like super loose. And I thought, well, at least I have all the tools to re-stretch it and know how to do that now. Oh, this is almost empty. Let's see. This isn't quite what I bought. What did I buy? Panels. I bought some cheap panels and then I bought some medium price panels. So like the cheap panels, I spent those are 8x8s. I spent $20 on 6. For an 8x8 6-pack. And then you also have to gesso them, right? So then I have to gesso them. And so that is extra. And then the bigger ones, do I have any of the bigger ones up here? This is a bigger one. This one's an 8x10. So the 8x10s, this was $7 for the wood panel. And then let me just compare that to this, which is also an 8x10. I have a lot of alerts, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted. I'll get to them. 8x10 canvas. I buy the blue labels, right? Yep, the blue label ones. 8x10 blue label. This is $6.90. Are the panels cheaper? I know big panels are expensive. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because I bought a big panel when I did my logo, when I did the pour painting for the logo, when I redid that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, and I've just got it in my head that they're more expensive and not useful to do that with. Oh, I made the coffee so good today. And it's in my favorite mug. One of my favorite mugs. Because this one has this like in curve. So it's like nice to hold. It's my favorite mug. I got it from Hobonichi a few years ago. Alright, we have an 18-month resub from Dragonlee, 17 months from Ken1 Noob, 16 months from Tokunut, 18 months from Snowy Sataru, 18 months from Never Challenge the Chat, 100 bits from Xenofantasies, and it gave you pink paint drops. Anise gifted 5 subs. They went to Nutmeg, Udipes, Entei70, Clary Day IOTC, Mora, and 92. Thank you for the gift subs. Vagabond says, you know where you can get better mugs? Merch. There are mugs on that. Personally, there's 2 types. Well, there's 3 types if you count travel mugs. My favorite mugs that I sell are the these ones, the ones that go out. Personally, I like those better. Instead of like the straight walled mugs, which are the ones we tend to have. Like the ones Steven and I bought to have on breakfast stream for my work. They're like the straight vertical side ones, but I personally like the out ones better to use. Just a personal choice. And like this one goes in. I like mugs that are different shapes. We have a 2-month resub from Elven Scout, 14 months from Nat Common, 17 months from Jay Linebeck, 18 months from Harumi Kindle, 5 months from Fire Goddess 1990, 17 months from Lunar Pearl, 18 months from Lugia6, 17 months from Brina BX, and 18 months from Jamie 2286. Thank you all for the resubs this morning. I appreciate it. I'm like, it's rainy here, and so I had a 20-mile bike ride last night, so I'm kind of just slow moving today. We'll get there. Vagabond says, that explains your glassware. It's great glassware. I think all of my friends avoid using my glassware, and they pick the other glasses in my house. Mr. Deathkill says, I like your spinning Culver's burger mug. I almost grabbed that this morning. Almost grabbed that. In fact, I had a different one of those. It looks the same. And one of my roommates in college used it and didn't know it had a metal piece inside the burger. And they microwaved it. And it, like, that part of it burst. Because it was not microwave safe. And she felt so bad. And I was like, it's totally fine. Like, whatever. Anyway, she went out and she found me another one. And that's the one I have now. So that was very sweet of her to replace it. Because, like, now I'm glad I have it. Because I worked there for, like, 6 years of my life. When I was in high school. And you can't get them anymore. But that was very sweet of her. I was not devastated that it broke. We have an 18-month resub from Aldo and 18 months from Lunagazer. Thank you both. So I'm going to do a painting today of... I've had this idea in my head of doing this blue sunset. Aldo says, oh, a mug. Okay, so I have this Culver's mug. Now, it's a mug, like so, with a handle. And over here, there's a little plastic burger. Actually, the burger sits this way. And, you can spin it, and it's on this piece of metal that goes through the middle of it, so you can, like, spin it. Did I ever find a replacement for the mug Steven melted in the microwave? Yes, he replaced it. It's a built-in fidget toy. Yeah, the Culver's mug is a built-in fidget toy. It's really loud, too. So it's kind of annoying. Unless you're the person doing the annoying. So yeah, I've had this in my head to do a blue sunset with very little other colors. And I pulled an image I took in Florida when I was visiting my dad and stepmom of a sunset. And I'm going to base it kind of off that, but it was not very blue because actual sunsets are not blue. There's a lot more color to them. Or sunrises or whatever. You can't tell unless you know the location. Sometimes some are more intense than others, and sometimes they're not, based on conditions. So that's what I'm going to paint today. And I had the idea because I got the Yinmin blue paint. But I thought about doing the entire thing in this, in a monochrome this, but this is so expensive. And the other thing I thought about with this paint that I wanted to do is I thought about using this kind of like slightly as a signature color when I do my signature on a painting using this. But the problem with that is if I do something this doesn't work with, it's going to clash, and I don't like that. So then I'm like, well, what do I do then? I don't know. I'm almost done cleaning off a palette, and then we'll do a little drawing, and then we'll start painting. And I also have this coffee. The go live message did say there would be coffee. Because I got up and realized that the studio wasn't set up, because the last thing I did in here was I photographed large canvas. And large canvas required me to move the camera and lights. I had to isolate large canvas with isolation coat, which required me to take the shelf and drop it to the ground so that I could paint the bottom of it and do isolation coat. And after I did that, I had cleared off my table so I could set large canvas here to dry. So studio was not anywhere where it needed to be this morning when I woke up and then said, I should get out of bed and do this. And tabletop really wasn't set up because the pour paintings are still sitting there. It's on my to-do list to clean that up. But I wanted to make sure they were dry after after I changed the one of them. The pour painting I did that has, that I drew that little star in, that one dried so different. Because I used a lot of the pouring medium, and like, that is white, like, is any of this clear? Like right here is clear. So it's white like this is, and then when I used it, it was transparent. And I used dark colors in it, so it dried very dark. I wasn't quite expecting it to dry that way. Under certain light, you can still see some of the colors and the starburst in some areas. It's just very different than you all saw it last. We have a 10-month resub from Circle Now Squared. Thank you. All right, I have a clean palette. I have a canvas. I have an image. I have a ruler I need. So what I want to do is I am changing this because the photo I took was this way, but I'm going to kind of make up part of this image. And I took this, in the actual photo, the sun is like this big, like real tiny. And I'm just kind of using it and like mentally zooming myself into it and like making up some of the image. So I am just kind of using it more as inspiration and not trying to make it the exact same. 200mm lens, got it. Mentally though. And sometimes that's frustrating to me, is I want to take a photo and visually I'm like, okay, I want to take a photo of this so I can paint it, but I need it to be like zoomed in and how I'm seeing it, but like my phone can't do it. I can see it in my head how I want the photo to look. I'm like, I could paint it that way. Can't photograph it that way. We have 500 bits from Elvin Scout, who says, takes me back to my days of painting D&D minis. Good vibes all day, y'all. Well, thank you. I painted a D&D mini once. And I liked it, but I prefer to paint flat. I like sculpting, like if I made a mini out of like ceramic, like maybe yay big, because like working tiny is not something I adore. That would be fun. Alright, so I need to divide this into thirds because I am going to force the sun to be on the lower left third. So that's 3.3 repeating. So somewhere around here. 1, 2, 3. Somewhere around here. And then thirds this way is going to be approximately there. There, so that's approximately thirds. Steven's also making me avocado toast because I didn't eat yet. So we're putting the sun right here. Because I've decided that I want to have way more sky than I want to have water. And there's a few different cloud banks. And we have a horizon as well. And because it's over the water, we have that. Did we finally? No, we didn't. iPad did not want to update to iCloud today. So there's that. And then this guy kind of gets a bit taller. And there's not really much point in me drawing this, I'm just realizing, because I'm going to paint my sky first. And then put the clouds in. So really I just needed the horizon. Perfect. And I think I might just throw the horizon right on this line here. Just moving slower today. Just tired. So yeah, I went for a 20-mile bike ride. I saw a very angry copperhead. Another cyclist warned, or no, they were a runner. They were on foot. And he's like, "Hey, snake." I'm like, "Thank you." And he's like, and I was like, "Is it a copperhead?" Because I could see a pattern from the distance I was at. And he goes, "I don't know, but I think so." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I get up closer and I'm like, "Ah, yeah, that's a copperhead." And like, he was angry. He was very angry. He was in strike pose where they kind of like curl back so they're charged and ready to go. So I saw which way he was and I was like, let's go around by the tail. And then I had to warn 3 people who were headed towards him. There was a guy on a bike, and I started waving at him. I was like, "Hey, hey." He's like, "Yeah?" And I'm like, "Copperhead." He's like, "Oh God, where?" And I'm like, "Up by where that crossing is." And he's like, "Thank you." And then I warned a pair of women walking. They were out for like an evening stroll, and I was like, "Hey, ladies, so watch out. There's an angry snake." You know, if you don't go near them, you are good. You just need to be aware so you don't accidentally walk on top of it. Okay, so I'm looking at this image I took, and I think I do want to have a little bit of purple and yellow to the image, but it's going to be mostly blue. I'm not doing monochrome blue because I think that would look ridiculous. So if I am putting the sun in this area, and the cloud is going to come up this way, we're going to have kind of a lighter this way, Okay, I'm just gonna have to kind of make it up as I go. So I just have to mix up a bunch of colors. And I think I am going to use... I know I have more of this. It may just be over on the shelf. I'm going to use open titanium white for this so it dries slower and I can blend this better, which may mean we don't get much done today, but that's okay. Alright, so I need that. I need to find the right blue that I want to use. And Yinmen's close, I just think I need it to be a little greener, so maybe phthalo blue red shade. Maybe we'll just test things today a little bit and make sure that this is exactly how I want it to be. I'm gonna pull out green shade while I'm at it. What else do I want? Maybe ultramarine? And then we need to get into some red. You are not reds, you are my primaries. There's the reds. I moved everything around when I did the pour painting and had to pull everything out. Maybe alizarin for this red violets. And we do need to get into a little bit of an orange. So we should get... Where's my orange tubes? Those are all yellow. Violet. Greens. Neutrals. There's oranges. And my paint tube opener. When did I get these? I got one of these for the still life, but I have a fluorescent pink and a fluorescent magenta. My options are very limited for orange. It's probably the color I have the least amount of. That might be violet. I think I might pull out Pyrrole and then just really tone it down because it's really intense. And let's reorganize these in color order. I might also pull Pyrrole Red. Blue. Violet there. That's better. So I have a variety of colors. I am going to grab more titanium white open. Noah says paint. There's a lot of paint. Let me grab another open. Actually, I don't have any more. That's fine. I don't have any more. We'll use what I have, and then we'll go to regular titanium. Okay. We have an 18-month resub from MoleLad. Thank you. That's fine. I think I bought this to use it in the sky colors, especially because it will keep wet longer. And then I think I was getting frustrated by its drying time because I had gotten so used to regular acrylic that it was frustrating me that it took so long to dry. And then I decided not to buy anymore. Because like I'm looking up at my shelf. Oh, nope, I do have one. Okay. Sorry, the boxes look really similar. Yeah, these look real similar. Like, there's no indication that this is open versus not. The only indication is on this side, where this says open in dark. The ones that are not just say golden right there. Some of them have the swatch stripe marks that they do. And some of them recently, my newer tubes come in clear boxes, so you can like see what it looks like inside. So yeah, if I open it, then it's an open tube. Okay. Anyway, glad I figured that out. So I have, yeah, this is my last tube of this. At some point I did sort them. This tube might actually be totally empty too, because I'm using the tube ringer and it's just... I'm right at the end of it and it's not giving me any paint. Very identifiable. When it's out of the box it is, because here's the difference. You can tell. I mean, this one's mostly empty, but like, that's easy to tell. In the box, not so much. Maybe that's why they're switching to clear boxes. Yeah, I'm getting all of about like a teaspoon of paint out of this tube. My trash is basically full too, so. Real setup today. So we need a blue. I should grab a sketchbook. And this is where I tested all my blues, so we might as well continue to test right there. I'm just going to do a little bit of these 3 blues that I've picked and see which one I like best. I'm just going to mix them with that white and swatch them. So this is Phthalo Blue Red shade. That's pretty spot on, to be fair, with what I want. It's such pretty royal blues. It's such a great swatch line. And I'm just trying to see which one's going to be closest. Thank you, Mr. Deathkills. We don't need 60 minutes of male music. And this is Phthalo Blue Green. Actually, I think I might like this better for part of it. It's just, I need to tone down its intensity a little bit. It's really bright. We have a 17-month resub from Twilight Cat 24. Thank you. Coffee, paintbrush, coffee. And then let's look at ultramarine, because I do need multiple blues for this sky. We could have had a whole hour of male music stream. Coulda. Alright. Ultramarine test. And I know this one is going to be way different. Steven says, hello, do you want a single piece of toast? And if so, do you just want the avocado loaded up onto it? Because I don't want any. Yes. Just like that. We have an 18-month resub from Devoid Art. Thank you. Alright. Color's good. Color's very saturated. Slightly less saturated would be ideal. We all know that's not how I tend to paint. So we're gonna try to not. Palette knife. There you are. So I have some blues. I need to tone them down with an orange. So let's just put more paint on this palette. Alizarin. I don't have any yellow out. That's probably gonna come back to bite me. What's a yellow that I feel like working with? I'm thinking ochre. Oh, that is... I can't grip that. Tube gripper's not gripping that. It's real beat up here, so even the tube gripper isn't, so I just grab up pliers. And that's not working either. There we go. Lost Coat Hero says, I'm making apple crisp with your stream on in the background. Oh, apple crisp sounds so good. There's not really apples in Raleigh. Some of the apples I grew up eating and liking, they're not supermarket apples, so you just don't get them down here. Pie roll. All right, that's a nice variety of color that I probably need for this painting. So let's work on mixing our sky color, and then everything else I'm just going to do a loose painting with. So which one did I like best? The answer was Phthalo blue-green shade. I also have a habit of not only making things too saturated, but making them too dark. I did think about doing a cookie stream today, but there was a lot going on this morning. Maybe I'll just make cookies for fun this weekend. Alright, how do I feel about this blue? think it's a good blue. Is it enough for the painting? That's the part I'm struggling with. I don't want to run out. We should carve pumpkins on Halloween on tabletop. We did pumpkins 2 years ago. The problem is I don't want to clean up from the pumpkins. Okay, that should be enough blue. So now I need a few more colors. We're going to mix a second blue that's slightly more ultramarine. And then we're going to tone it down a little bit with a little orange. It's fine, that's husband work. Convince him of that. More phthalo. It's a little too ultramarine. And just a little orange to tone it down. That's a good blue. It looks really green on camera. It's a lot more denim colored in person. Use a plastic tablecloth. Let's see. What else do I want? I need more titanium white. I need probably way more than that, honestly. I need to mix up the purple and the orange and the red. So I'm going to start with the orange, and Pyrrole is way too saturated. Oh god, this is not what I want at all. Like, not pretty. So now I have an option. I can push this a little bit more towards the violet using a little bit of this alizarin, or I could go towards the yellow and see if it's starting to mix into the color I want. And I decided to go with the red, so I'm adding alizarin to it. And it's making a pretty pink color. Like it's like a blush color, it's pretty. What are we painting? I'm doing this blue sunrise idea that I had. And like, it's not going to be fully blue, like monochrome blue, but it's going to be very blue in ways that sunrises and sunsets tend to not be. Okay, I like this, but it's too light. It needs more. And let's see, the last color I need is like a very, very light yellowy color. So I'm just going to use yellow ochre. And that might be enough. I accidentally got blue in it. Dang it. Time to move it to a cleaner part of the palette. One of the things I don't love about the open paint is it's goopier, and so it just kind of gets everywhere. Like I just moved some and I dropped paint all across the palette. Hi! Thank you for the avocado toast.
It's a whopper of a...
It sure is. I need to paint first before my paint dries.
Okay.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
Sombra Norris says Mal is in her blue period. Very on brand. Very demure. Very on brand, yes. Alright, so we're gonna start with this color. And I'm just going to paint it here and paint it outwards. And I'm realizing it is not quite saturated enough because when the sun gets painted on, that is going to be pure white. You won't be able to see it. So I need to make that at least a little yellow with the ochre. There, that will work. And because this is a lake with a reflection, I'm going to do a rough mirror of it. But the ripples will change all of that later. And then we'll add in a little bit of this pink. And then immediately overdo it. Okay, now we can go into the blues, and I'm going to start with this darker blue. And by darker, I mean it's more violet than the other one.
I think I need to bring more pink back in too.
We went from biggest canvas to smallest canvas. Truly peak character development. I almost grabbed an 1114, but I grabbed an 8x10. My thought at the time was, then I can finish this in one day, and then I proceeded to pick up the golden open paint, which means I can't do it in one day, because this will need to dry. But we will have a very good roughed in outline after today. Okay, going to bring back in pink. I don't want this square brush, I want a round. Do I have a fuzzy round? Maybe this guy. Alright, now we will build in the rest of the sky color. That is a good match. It's just really intense. I'm just mixing in more titanium white because the blue is still on my brush. And so it's getting lighter and I'm trying to blend it into the rest of this. I think I need to bring more of this on the top part here. So like in here, I think I need to have less of the lighter blue. So I can take some of the denim color and start to build that, because I don't think I did enough of that. Yeah. Where don't I like it? Here. That's what I'm not liking. I think I need to bring it up further. And I shouldn't have done that. Can you all see that? Maybe? Oh. Just use some titanium white and fill in that area. And we'll go back into some of this yellow. That's not bright enough. And I've lost a little bit of this pink yet. Okay, I like that. I think that's a really good base for this. Because there's going to be clouds. Like, this isn't all the sky is going to be. And the water isn't going to be a still water either. There's going to be ripples on it. But I like it. I think the colors are good. So let's make sure I did the sides all appropriately. I need a little bit there. Too dark. And this side looks pretty good. It needs to be a little darker down here. Sometimes these little folded corners give me trouble if I don't paint them when I'm doing a blend like this. And I mixed up a ton of this color, so that's good. I'm just using the worst brush. Switch to the square or the flat. All right, that's set. So we have a very pretty base layer. Very pretty. So I'm gonna wash off brushes, eat my avocado toast, finish the cold coffee I have, and then we'll see if things are dry to add some clouds. Actually, the sun probably needs to get put in first. And they may not be dry enough today, we'll see. I should cover this though. Seems my like 4 scissors that I keep in this room have disappeared. And to be fair, it was probably my own doing. Okay. Time to put out traps to catch the scissor goblin. Who's the goblin that keeps stealing my scissors? It's me. I should do this. Let me get the paint off my hands. Brandon. Brandon has been given permission to, like, because I've been like, oh, just go look in the studio at the painting. So he will come in here and just look at whatever I've been working on. So it is possible it was him. Isn't it soft? I really like it. The clouds are going to be dark, like, maybe not fully ultramarine blue dark, but like, they're going to be dark. It couldn't have been Kepi. Or it could have been Kepi. Kepi is just interested in sink drink. That's all Kepi ever wants. Alright. This took long enough that the toast is like, the avocado is not fully brown, it's just a little brown. Where is the boy anyway? He's probably with Steven. If you mean Kepi. Kepi is probably with Steven. Is it supposed to be based on a lake? Yes, it's a photo I took when I was in Florida of a sunset over a lake. And the colors aren't true to what it looked like in person. I'm doing this blue on purpose. The clouds will all be blue, except the ones that get hit by the sun. Those ones will be like lighter. This is so much avocado. Yamadorgon. Yes, I meant Kepi. Sapphire backup. Brandon boy. We had bought Costco avocados, and you get 6. So yeah, there will be blue clouds here, like dark blue clouds, which is why I didn't bother to paint this. Same over here. Do I put anything on the avocado? Circle Now Squared says, I use Trader Joe's Everything Bagel Seasoning. Salt and pepper. I like to put cilantro on it, but I don't have any cilantro. Sapphire Becca says, dark blue cloud too. To be fair, if I was struggling setting up the studio by myself today, I was like, I'm just gonna play dark cloud. Okay, maybe I should have asked for 2 pieces of toast and spread the avocado out more, because it's very thick. So I had gone for a 20-mile bike ride yesterday. I said I saw the angry copperhead. I did get back a bit late. Yeah, it's a lot of avocado. And it was dark, and I had brought my lights. And the hard thing about biking in the dark with your lights is every bug decides that that super bright beam you have flies right for that. And like, what's right behind that light when they miss? Me. And I didn't get as many in my face as I have in the past when I've gone out biking later at night. So that was nice.
I think it was because I had the light pointed a little bit more up. So they were like kind of aiming down at it instead of like if I had it pointed at the ground to see the ground, they were kind of like flying up towards me. So that's something I learned yesterday. So I immediately got home and took a shower. It was also a new trail. I mean, I've been on the trail one other time that I was on. In the daytime. But, it's a different world doing it at night. I saw a deer. And it was downhill, so I'm flying down this dark path. With a ton of bugs. And deer. And it was just down slope curving, and it was cool. And it was fun. It was slightly scary. When I left out, right before I saw the snake, there was another cyclist, and he's like, ah, skinny tires. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, there's a patch of sand ahead, watch out. He said, I struggle with my bike on that sand patch. And I'm like, thanks for the heads up. And sure enough, I get to the sand patch, and I feel the bike slide under me, and I think that's the most nervous I've been on my bike. Is when it started to slide in the sand. And I have clipless shoes, so I'm clipped into the bike. And I just thought, oh no. And I didn't go down, but it was a little scary. Yamadorgan says, the locals seem very friendly, giving you warnings. Some are, some aren't. Some people, like, I'll be riding, and I have a bell, because sometimes you're just too tired to yell out loud enough on your left, and sometimes they don't understand what that means, and they think that means they need to walk left. But I just want them to know I'm coming up behind them, and I need them to move right if they're like 3 wide, because sometimes they're like 3 and 4 wide and I can't get around them. Or they have a dog on a leash that's really long and I don't want their dog to dart into my bike. So, and sometimes for some reason they're on the other side and then I have to say, I'm on your right. And the other day I did that and then they moved right. But I had already started to go right, so then I had to swing around them the other way. Can I just say behind? I could. But, like, there's signs up all over the county that are like, call out on your left, and they put on your left in quotes when passing. We're not having any Rockabye Baby today. We have a 13-month resub from Blue Hippie. Thank you. Lunar Pearl says it's too early for nap time. Pokemon Princess says, the problem is it counts on people walking to pay attention. Yeah, and when they have headphones on and, like, it's too loud or they don't have transparency mode or something, they can't hear me, regardless. So I just have to, like, kind of keep an eye on them to see that they're not gonna step into my lane. But it makes me understand why some cyclists have, is it a freewheel? It's the bikes that when you're not pedaling, it makes a loud noise. And Brandon's does it. And if he backpedals, it makes a louder noise. So I get why some cyclists have that, because it's really loud and it's very clear that there's a bike coming up behind you. Whereas my bike doesn't have that, so it's completely silent if I'm coasting, especially if I'm on pavement. Radio Dread said, I'm not sure I know what that sound is. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a hiss, but like a little more staccato. Like a bee buzzing, kind of. But like louder and slightly more mechanical. I don't know. Mine doesn't do it. It's when, yeah, the wheels go tick, 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 tick. If you've ever been fishing, like the cast noise of like the psh, like that, it's kind of like that. Is it something in your spokes? No, it has to do with, I believe disc brakes. I don't have disc brakes. I've only rode Brandon's bike a couple times. There's been a few times we'll switch so he can see what my bike is like, because like I'll talk about something on my bike and it rides totally different because he has a city step-through bike, like something you'd buy to like go get groceries. And when he was here last week on Friday to do the acrylic pour paintings, he had his bike, and I washed it up for him. Because mine needed washed, and I'm like, his is here. I might as well do that. And then I brought it back over to his house. And I did the chain and everything, and then after I do that, I just take a little loop on the road and go through all the gears to make sure that all of the silicone chain grease gets into all the gears. His bike is so much harder. You have to work on that bike. Oh my god. I finished avocado toast. It was so much avocado. But it makes sense that when he and I go out biking that I can just coast and keep up with him because my bike just coasts so much better. And he's basically constantly pedaling. But he could also switch gears and get faster in a faster gear and just coast also. But the cyclist who was like, oh, road tires, watch out for the sand. I joked with him, I was like, I guess that just means I need different bikes for different locations. And he's like, yeah, buy another bike. There's a group who rides in a state park in the area. And my bike could never. I've seen that trail and I could never do it. But it looks really cool. It has like a river crossing where the water's like this deep and you have to like bike through it. So now I want a mountain bike. Third bike. What I need to do is I need to get rid of my beach cruiser because it's a fixed gear where it does not have gears. It just has the one. because this area is not great for a fixed gear bike. I did see someone yesterday with a fixed gear bike pass me on a climb. And I thought, oh my god, how are you doing this?
Bike Stream 1. I mean, it's not an impossibility. It's just very difficult. There's a trail that I want to take my bike to and do that has a bunch of waterfalls. I might be able to get away with doing clouds. At least some of them. So there is some higher atmosphere clouds that I want to put in. And then we have like lower atmosphere clouds with like a thunder cloud head over here. So I could start to do the higher atmosphere ones, I think, and not totally destroy this. The lower atmosphere ones, like the thunder clouds that are sitting on the horizon, are not going to happen because I need to figure out the sun first, and I can't do that with the paint being as wet as it is. So I think I'm going to do these higher atmosphere ones up this way and hopefully not mess anything up. Kiklead says the fixed gear guy was in it for the workout. He impressed me because there was no way I was going to do that or could do that. All right, I want a stiffer brush, something slightly fuzzy like this guy that's older and like, I don't know if you can see how frayed this brush is, but I think I want one softer than this. Do I have something old and fuzzy but soft? This guy, this should work. Maybe this one. One of these two. So these are just really old fuzzy brushes. Try and get them over the black. I don't know if you can tell. An older guy, huh? The guy on the fixed gear bike was probably around my age. I was just shocked. I was like, ah, you're showing off. Look at what you can do. So I'm just taking this lighter color. This is the same color I have down here for the orange. And I'm just kind of brushing in some of these guys. And the paint is still a little wet, the blue that's right here, which is fine. Because it's just blending in a little bit and it's perfect. Kiklead says, it's like, do you even lift, bro, but on a bike? There's things cyclists do to show off to each other. And it's gotten very funny to me to like see people out and start to recognize that sort of thing. Everyone is generally very friendly. Ember Ellie says, I would love to get back into biking, but my particular bike feels like so much work. I guess it's time to upgrade from the cheap Walmart bike. It could be a number of things. It could be that it needs maintenance. It could need just a good cleaning. It could be your tires, the situation for like where you're biking versus like what you should be using for where you're biking. Like, sometimes I go out on a trail that is crushed gravel, and sometimes I'm on pavement. Sometimes I go to a place that has, like, different surfaces, and my bike does better on pavement. And when I'm not on pavement, it is so much work. And at work, oh, it's too small for you? I'm also suspecting that with mine. I'm wondering if mine is just too small for me. And like, I want to go get a fitter to like assess it, like the fit of my bike, because like, I think my seat could go higher for one. But like, I don't want to spend money on a fitter if I need a different bike. I went by height instead of weight. I'm also in a super hilly community. I just rode a bike that I thought felt good. Because the guy that was helping me at the local bike shop before I knew anything was just, I don't know, he did not seem to be there to actually help. He was there just, I think, to get the commission. But now I know more and I know better. I need a bike guy. I sort of have a bike guy. The first thing I need to do is I need to raise my seat, because I noticed yesterday it was just not what I needed it to be. And my knee is starting to hurt. So I'm kind of suspecting that I'm going to start by doing that. See, how do I feel about those clouds? Pretty good. Okay, so this... I like these a lot. Now I need to start working my way down into some of these darker clouds. So I'm going to start by doing their highlights with the same color. My hope is I don't forget what I'm doing. Should probably grab some more white. And I'm going to switch to normal titanium instead of open. Because this is so light right here, I don't know if it's going to quite show up as bright as I need it to, so...
I'm going to finish off clouds over here. And get the tops of this. And I had applied the paint quite thickly up here, so it's still quite wet. So it's up there. Okay, I need a darker blue. Let's move back into the denim after I wash a brush. So I'm trying to push back these clouds, and let's see if this is too dark. I'm going to start a little bit lighter than the solid denim color I mixed. That's not dark enough. Immediately, not dark enough. That's better. Now I can still go darker with this if I want. Now I have to go even lighter, because I'm getting into this part here. I might make it just a little bit purple. We have lyrics. Sorry, Sonic. So I've mixed this cloud color and just done a little bit of a darker.
And I've lost the highlight on this cloud. And it may just be too soft for it, I don't know. I might leave it alone and see how I feel about it later. It isn't quite what I'm wanting out of it. But I still have to bring in the thunderclouds. Okay. What is the best way to paint this sun when everything is still a little wet? Because it needs to sit like right here. I can draw a circle. That's too small. It needs to be just a little bit bigger than that. I can trace something. That might be the best way to do this, is to draw myself a circle and cut it out and trace it. Might have nailed that on the first shot. Let's try it. Oh wait, I don't have my scissors. Shoot. Did I tuck backup scissors somewhere? Backup scissors? Oh, I do have backup scissors. Got him. Now this isn't perfectly round because I'm not perfect about cutting out a circle. So I find if I just take a sanding block and lightly kind of like draw the edge of the circle on it, it'll get rid of any of the high parts. At least enough for it to feel better. Okay. paint pen not cooperating today. And it's because this paint underneath the sky is currently a little wet. So hopefully I can at least get the outline of this in and then fill it in with a brush. And some of this will be covered by clouds, so I'm just trying to get the edge of it. Doesn't that make a difference though? Okay, I don't love this cloud. So we're gonna change that. That might help. What was I using for this? Phthalo blue red. I'm gonna start to bring in the thundercloud. Because it will change maybe how I do this mid-level cloud here. And this is way darker.
So I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit and then lighten it up as I get closer to where the sun itself is, but
Not by a ton. iCloud. There we go. I had a cropped in version of where these clouds sit to help me. Once I connect this, it'll make more sense. We have an 18-month resub from Andrew in the Kitchen and 18 months from KJ the Quiet One. Thank you both.
welcome in. We are painting.
So, this guy over here, I should probably just finish that. think it needs to be bigger. Yeah, like so. And the water will need some work because I'm just kind of roughly filling this in. But it's getting there. And let's grab the side of this one. That looks pretty good. Now I gotta work this way. And I still don't love this cloud, but that's a problem for me later. Maybe I'll do something with it. We're getting there. I gotta finish here, even though it's not going to be there. All right, let's grab this side so I don't lose any of these colors. And I got over there. Okay. Still don't love this cloud, especially right here. Not quite sure how to fix that yet. Considering just like trying to fill it in, but may regret that. And that may be the last thing I do today. I'm kind of thinking of making this guy taller too. think it needs to wrap around the side. Because if you look at it straight on, this space is weird. Yeah, I think so. We have a 13-month resub from Reed. Thank you. Alright, I think we are done with the sky, or at least what I can do today. I need to let this dry. I need to think about... Okay, maybe I should fill that in. Never mind. I don't like that area still. So I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to fill it in while I have this color, before it dries out on me for next week. And I might still bring something in there because it's not going away completely. I can still see it. Maybe it just needs another layer. So, going to leave that alone. Put one layer of that over it. And then we will look at it next week and see how I feel about it. But yeah, we're gonna make sure there's a definite horizon next week. I'll tape that off. Finish the clouds, see how I feel about them. The sun needs more white paint, but it's too wet to add that. And then we'll start doing the reflection. That's the plan. So let's see, brushes, paint covered up. One more brush to clean. But yeah, I really like the colors that are coming in through this. I think they're very fun. They're very soft in the sky, and then we have these really dark clouds. I might do a few more layers into the sky. It's a little flat. The right side I think looks fine. The left side I think could use a few layers. But that needs to dry. So that's the plan for next week. Let me label what I did. This is, oh god, phthalo, blue, green shade. And this is phthalo blue, red shade, and ultra marine. And pyrrole. There. Now I won't forget how I made these colors. Yes. Cool. Let's run my Patreon ticker. So thank you to my Patreon supporters on patreon.com/MalMakes. One of my mods will have a link for you, and you can check that out and the perks that come with that. Tonight on Steven's channel, we are starting a new game. We finished Zelda last week, so we will be doing Banjo-Kazooie tonight, and I'm very excited. Chaz has been working very hard on alerts and has come up with some really cool things. Steven had to do some work to make sure that they worked also. I've only played a little bit of Banjo, so I'm excited to experience it because my good friend Josh Jepson loves that game, so I'm excited to see all of it. Other things that are happening. On Monday, I'll be playing more Dark Cloud 2 right here at my normal Dark Cloud 2 time. Ember Laura says, now that I turned the quality up, the painting is so pretty. Thank you. I'm excited to do the water. The water isn't going to be a still water perfect mirror, but I wanted to start to have the colors and like the location of it. So it is fun. I think that's all of the important things. Chaz, is there anything I'm missing? I don't think so. Banjo tonight, Dark Cloud on Monday. We'll work on this next Monday. Cool. I am going to, let's see, I finished all my laundry, and then I cleaned the studio. The studio was the other thing on my to-do list. I have to go see what else is on my to-do list. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope to see you for Banjo-Kazooie tonight. I'm very much looking forward to it. So come check that out. Check out Chaz's new alerts for it. And I will see you then. Ember Laura says, we'll see you guys for Banjo. Thank you. All right, hope everyone has a good Friday, and I will see you tonight.